So Pluto and Aquarius part 2, we are dealing with a synopsis where we get to transcend. We get to transcend those differences. We get to show up, glow up, light up the vibe, light up the sky, if you will. This is about bringing your best creations to the forefront during this time, especially leading up to March, April. This is about not getting snagged in differences, the judgments, feelings of lack of equality. I wouldn't waste your energy on feeling like that you're going to try to keep like the woke culture movement alive, because it becomes a level playing field where everyone's going to get their shot to break the shackles now out of any of their restrictions. There's going to be so many challenges that those that were opposing those limitations on anyone people are trying to save, that they're not going to be able to really put so much pressure on those people. That part is fading. So we're better off coming up with solutions that we feel passionate about. Pluto and Aquarius brings up, there's so many challenges, problems in the world, things to figure out. But where's your passion? You can't connect to all of them. You may need to be a powerful motherfucker that knows how to solve complex things and deal with multiple issues. But the underlying evolutionary thesis, in order to make a contribution to humanity, is going to be very much, what is your part that you want to play? And it's not even about figuring it out too. That's the ironic thing, is that if we try to figure out too much on the mental level, we'll get stuck, we'll get hung up. It's more about all of a sudden everything like clicks. And how does that click? It's like, well, using Pluto to like work through the fears of like not having some hierarchy Capricorn position, and that we all are a collective, we all are one on that aspect of that level of just being energy and just being frequency. And so this deals with receptivity, it deals with that Nikola Tesla aspect of receiving crazy downloads and awarenesses of experiments that we can basically run that have a certain potency to it. And really it's about channeling that shit and then being in the body though to receive it, and then act it out through your talents and skill sets, and seeing that somehow in some crazy jigsaw way our minds can't figure out, it all fits together. So it's about playing our part, So Pluto and Capricorn was teaching us a lot of like where we got hung up. It's teaching us where maybe we over fixated on our careers, our achievements that maybe weren't even possible or realistic, and going, okay, well, there was a reveal of purpose there, but now to like figure it out as that red tape lifts, now it's just not about going into like the PTSD of history and having red tape in your mind of trying to figure things out, because as we're evolving, this brings up this next couple of years not meant to be so hung up in the thinking mind, and evolving more into that intuitive solar plexus, that more evolved brain that's in the gut. And that by the time we hit 2027, it's like being able to just know in the moment like what needs to be done. These are opportunities for our own personal transcendence of like, what were those blocks? We don't have to be afraid anymore. If anything, the only fear, if there was a fear to even have, would be just being too like willy-nilly and rebellious and just all over the place and connecting and doing whatever you want in the world without a sense of purpose like to it. This isn't about like going the opposite of like 2020 energy of being too scared to leave the home, and then all of a sudden going out into the world and being crazy, but like being a rebel like without a cause, basically, when we need like rebels like with a cause, like the cause of let's ascend, let's evolve, let's bring humanity up to this like new forefront of love and connection and just the overall ultimate like well-being, for the world that we inhabit. So, there's opportunities, but the opportunities are going to be based upon a lot of transcendence of the thinking. It's just like be careful with all this air energy, that Jupiter in Gemini, that South Node in Libra, that Pluto now in Aquarius, where, we can think all day long, but we've got to like move those ideas into a direction. And so directionally speaking, it's like cool, we got the North Node and Chiron in Aries. And so I think one way to use this is going, okay, well, we can have ideas and we can go places, but like, are we healed enough? Are we like too in the ego still of like the separate nature of individuals and people acting out protector parts of ego or like some inner child like wounding? And so maybe we need to put the solutions like first on like how do we deal with like making sure that warrior tenacious energy that wants to go in a direction is like an evolving healing warrior that's willing to sacrifice a part of its own ego identification of things in order for a better world, a better collective. You could look at this as like entertainment with Saturn and Neptune at the end of Pisces, like not getting lost in some like media based, just always being on like the illusion of a screen or a device of some sort. And getting back to more of these roots of security, of connecting to the earth. It's like the earth is here to help us just randomly, radically shift a frequency in a nanosecond in order to just become one with just the earth and nature and just the appreciation and value of things without having an exact physical substance to it, with that Uranus in Taurus, which Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, so like we got to maintain that earth energy. We got to keep like working on projects that actually bring value. And so I think the litmus test with the values of if we're being successful is like, is this actually evolving my life, or am I just in survival mode because of like, the old fears that are meant to fade? And then it's like getting into the South Node Libra fantasy of like creating something, but it's like a project, a relationship, something with money that you think is going to be beautiful, but it's actually not in alignment at all, like with actually going in a positive direction that's going to take things to this next level, to this ascension process of things. And so, I'm optimistic, but it's also with the caution and the caveat of like remembering that some people will still get hung up in the control-based narratives, and we can't worry about that. It's more about how do we not even associate like with that thinking or those beliefs anymore, that it's going to like go bad, and go into a space of going, okay, well, we're in a position now where it's like enough of that red tape is lifted. Who's the people that you're meant to be around, connect to, do cool things with, and that you're sort of like gridding with light and high vibrations and coming into those groups of like letting the positive ETs that want to help know, like, here, land the spaceship here, or bring the medicine here, bring the medicine that the people that were MK Ultra brainwash fucking struggling with Wateco Vine virus stuff like need this antidote, because they don't believe us, because they think we're crazy, because they think we're just spiritual hippies or whatever, with like tarot cards and crystals and dress this way or whatever it is. I say that as I'm wearing a collared shirt, like I don't dress the spiritual part like in that sense, which is again very Aquarian, like on the negative side, Pluto of like, I'm just gonna be like everyone else, and that's how I'm spiritual, or how I'm unique, is over identifying with a group of people. So this is about, you can only be in your highest, best, truthful, vibration if you're willing to be different. And that's when you get to be at the most high quality connected positions in this reality to where you can go to a better level. So this is a time for getting clarity on ideas, even if they're not perfect. Like, we've got to seed a direction to go, well, this is the best thing that I know and best idea, and then like go in that direction, that's actually going to take us like to that next level, and to have courage to like work through those blocks and not let fear, or I'm not sure if I should go this way, or I'm not sure who I am, or whatever. It's like, no one knows who they are with this astrology at this point. We're all still like learning, who we're becoming, because we've been shedding so much of what we're not, of just centuries of conditioned beliefs, that it's like, you're only really going to know by going and having the experience. You can only go connect with people and be in the world and be a part of the evolution during this current astrology, by going out and being a part of it. So it's like, don't be a hermit, don't sit on the couch or isolate. Like, that was, obviously some Pluto and Capricorn stuff towards the end there, of like, we needed that reflection time. But I'd say from now till March, April, when we get really heavy into Pisces, and then maybe it is a little bit more spiritual, just be alone with God. It's like, go do the reconnaissance stuff and be in the world right now and see where people are at. Listen, like, see what people are talking about. Are they, still struggling with election stuff? Like, what, this is a good thing for getting a pulse on the problems people are struggling with. Like, even if you're someone that needs to like market for a business, or just like wants to have that mirror, of what other people are going through compared to your situation, so that you can understand that you're not crazy, that like all this energy is just asking us to evolve. Because remember, we can have our TikTok utopian ideas what Pluto and Aquarius is, but it's a whole nother thing to relate to other just human beings on an empathetic level, to actually expose the truth of like, what is the craziness of the evolutions that you're actually going through. Because that's where the real connection is at. It's going to be that vulnerability that gets us like out of survival mode, out of competition, thinking that, we're going to be the weirdo in the room, or that we're going to be like cast out if we don't fit the bill or something of what it looks like to be spiritual, or, fit this type of community or tribe. It's not about that. It's about your best survival. God's providence depends upon, do you know how to raise to your highest vibration? Do you know how to be empowered in that? And then the method, the exact details, and even like what you're doing of your creations doesn't so much matter, as much as it is allowing yourself to be in your power of solving a problem with a solution, that you go and get that experience and that feedback and collect that data to go back then to the drawing board. Okay, this is what worked, this is what didn't, here's the adjustments I got to make. Let me see what my soul is saying. Oh, okay, I see where my ego took it and went in that direction, when my higher self, my oversoul, was saying, actually, it was this, but you jumped the gun, and then you went and did this, and this. And so now you got to like backtrack a few steps, which is a very manifesting generator thing in human design. But like a generator would be more like, like, okay, I'm going and doing this thing, and now I'm doing this thing, and I'm stopped, because like it feels like nothing's moving, but really it's always moving. It's just you're generating the ideas, the awareness, the something to respond to go create with, and that you don't have to worry so much about, like moving too fast. And so this is a time for, experimentation. Don't wait for Elon Musk to save the world, or Trump, or AI, or just any of that stuff. Like, still allow your intuition to show you the spaces to get into. Like, not everyone's meant to be involved in crypto. Not everyone's meant to just like start fucking with AI right now. Maybe eventually, but it doesn't mean that, you like fucking cannonball into it like a pirate, and then the cannonball just like fucking isn't even shooting anything, it just fucking falls in the sea. And then it's like, now you're at the bottom of the ocean trying to figure out your subconscious dilemmas on why things aren't working. It's like, because you're coming from your mental programming still. This is about, Pluto knows how to like get into the cracks of humanity's psyche and psychology and go, yeah, we know you think that you're smart, and you guys are, but also like, here's an easier, better way that's gonna like benefit everyone more if you just allow that mysterious evolutionary process where it can feels like you're in the dark sometimes and you don't have all the ideas and answers and facts and data, and go in a better direction. Sometimes rest cycles are fucking needed. You know, we don't always know when that comes because there's a pulsation of it. You know, Pluto's all about the pulse, right? Like just like the shaman listening to the hoofbeats of the ground. But in this case, in Aquarius, it's like listening to the heavens, like connecting with your spirit guides. Like it's being very, very open and curious. And then like you should start getting really familiar with like, what is that frequency like feel, sound like, you know, look like, depending on how you connect with intuition, that you know that it's your spirit guides that you're connecting to. You want to get intimate as fuck with whatever you connect to on a spiritual level this next 20 years, and to like not take it for granted, you know, not to go outside in the world like looking for some solution, when really this is about learning you've got it all within inside of you. It's all within you at a cellular level. You get to paint the picture of what you want to connect with on an ethereal spiritual level, and that's what makes it fun. You know, that's the free will part of it. So go have fun, go create. Like don't be afraid of anything being put out there, but also don't sit on the sidelines just because there's like pumped up toxic positivity being put out there, if we're not actually enacting, connecting to these frequencies. So if you want to learn more about what this means for you on an individual level, I'd highly recommend, if you want to do the natal chart approach, $33 ebook, link below. You can look at the $9 special, Destiny Tug of War, how to not play small, I feel like is an important one for people. Take a look at your zodiac sign for these evolutionary planets shifting next year in 2025. That's already starting now. And then if you want to get a really personal, dialed in approach, and you want that intuitive guidance on how to like pull that old Capricorn gunk out, and let's like detox the programming, let's detox the emotional stuff, anything you're getting hung up on, do some like energy clearing, work with me one-on-one, different variations of breath work, hypnosis, celestial shamanism. And then of course there's my creme de la creme astrology readings that's going to like help you map out the progressions of the places that you can go. So I love you all. I'll catch you on the next horoscope.